interviewing.
I am anti-feminist.
Okay, so I'm interviewing, non-feminist women.
Good.
So, okay, so the first question is, how did you become a non-feminist woman?
I was born one.
I feel like I was born one as well, but like
I did not become one. I think that all people are born as they are, and that the feminism is a disease that they contract at some later point in time. Did you want to record this?
Yes, I'm recording.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, okay, so you were always non-feminist, you would say.
Correct.
From the time
I was born non-feminist. Yeah. I was raised non-feminist. I have explored what the feminist creeds and ambitions are, and they are against my personal stance on life.
How would you, like, what would you say you disagree with in feminism?
Well, I disagree that there is a need for so-called feminism and the ideas that they espouse about being equal in some kind of way to men, because it is a misconception that we are unequal simply because we are different. And I think that is what's being exploited. You know, we're different, so we're going to say that difference means one is better than the other, so then we have to fight. And that is just not true. Right. In principle, it's not true. And so why would I argue to be like, I want to work as hard as a man? I want to be as strong as a man.
To prove your equality. You don't need to prove your equality to a man because you already are. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't need to prove anything. If we are different, just like all of life is different, right? Do you think like pine trees are trying to be equivalent to orange trees or mango trees? Like, that doesn't even make sense. It's again just a way to have strife among people. And there are people who adapt I'm just doing this to be equal stuff, and I see it very similar as to people who try to say similar things about so-called races, which is fake. And when something negative happens to, let's say, women, they think it's because they're a woman, which again is kind of crazy. And when they make less, for example, in a particular field, the feminists automatically assume it's because they're women. They don't take into consideration that it might be because you're not doing the same job.
Right. Okay.
Right. And you're not doing it the same way, and you're not doing it for as long, and and you don't have the background experience. So why would you expect to so-called be paid the same? So that's the thing. Those are the things that I observe. It's like,
yeah. Okay, so what do you think about patriarchy theory, in the sense that, do you believe that we live in a patriarchy in the West?
I don't even know why that would matter, whether you want to call it whatever. What does it actually matter if you want to say patriarchy or matriarchy or whatever?
Okay.
What difference does it make?
Okay, do you believe men have more control over society?
Men have more control. I think that's kind of like not observing the dynamic. So let me just give you an example. My parents, my family, including myself, we're from the Caribbean. My father would say things like, he's the general of the yard and my mom is the boss, or something like that. And of course kids will be like, okay, so you guys are the same. I don't even understand why you would try to make a distinction in roles. It just still means y'all are the boss, right? And even if it might be my father that appears to make some decision, if you think my mom wasn't involved, you're just dumb.
Right.
Okay?
Right. I think
that's why when I say it's a matter of perception, yeah, you might see the face be either one, right? The face is the wife, or the face of the decision, the one who's delivering information is the husband, or whatever, the man or the woman. That doesn't mean that both were not involved in coming to whatever that decision was, because you're seeing the face of,
yeah,
one or the other. So again, what difference does it make if you want to say, well, it's all the men make all the decision? Do you think it was wholly without
no, right? So,
right?
so women do have power within society, even if we would never be able to say who has more power. But the point is,
right,
both have some power. So
yeah, that's how I look at it.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. How do you see traditional gender roles?
I see them as fine.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't want to mow the lawn. I don't want to touch the trash. I'm not washing the trash bin. Don't even look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not changing any oil. I'm not changing tires. Mm-hmm. But I'll wash the dishes. I'll wash the clothes. I'll mind the children. I'll cook the food. And all that. When I was growing up, everybody cooked food. Everybody.
Okay.
Now it might be one doing a little bit more or a different kind, because my family also baked bread and all this stuff. And when daddy baked the bread, expect it to be salty. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so you might not want him doing that, right? But my father wasn't going to be hanging out clothes. He's not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. He's not changing baby diapers and things like that. It's just not what he's going to do. But he's going to be the one changing the oil. He's going to be the one filing the taxes. He's going to be the one starting the business, running, things like that.
Right.
So, it's just different.
It was just different roles.
If the girls want to be like, hey, I'll mow the lawn if my brothers wash the dishes, then switch it up however you want. Right.
It's just it was a sort of they had different rules, but it can change. But it was just so. It wasn't meant to be mean or something. It was just
That's again. It doesn't have to be. Well, that's just how it is. But if a girl, like I said, if a woman or a girl child, or however you want to say, I'll be the one to. They took an interest, let's say, in learning.
Right, and if a guy wants to change the diapers, he can change the diapers.
Exactly.
We need to be flexible, but we need to also say it's okay if we do it that way or this way, whatever. Right? It's just
whatever works for the family.
Whatever works for the people involved. I agree. And okay, but sometimes feminists demonize the traditional gender roles, saying they were oppressive to women and stuff, but it was just.
But why oppressive? Because if you have these roles, then the boys obviously have the other roles. So if you are oppressed in your role, you're saying that the boys are oppressed too.
Exactly. So this is what the feminists haven't really looked at, because your camera.
It's okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah, this is what the feminists have not really looked at, because the men were obviously also oppressed if the women were oppressed. They didn't ask about the male side. They just assume that they just look at it from the female side, and that is
they just look at it from a victim side, not just the female side.
Yeah.
Because even if you're on the so-called female side, and you're like, well, these are my roles, right? It's the same thing with the boys. They're
not all women thought it was terrible. That's right. I mean, not all women hated the role.
And then why are you saying you're oppressed? Why are you oppressed?
Yeah, okay.
What exactly is oppressing?
I think women.
Oh my God, I have to do the knitting. I have to do the sewing. I mean, is it oppressive? Did you not like doing it? It's okay if you didn't like doing it. If you went to your parents and you go, you know what? I don't want to do the fine needlework. Maybe brother wants to do the fine needlework, and we decided I'm going to wash the trash bin and take out the trash and mow the lawn.
Right.
What parent is going to be like, no, you have to do the needlework?
I mean, in the past, maybe. So maybe they were a bit, the rules were restrictive, and maybe you could say it was oppressive. But the problem is, who is oppressive?
Restrictive is not necessarily oppressive.
Alright, okay. I could see how they could complain, but the problem is, who did that? It wasn't men. It was just society and nature, whatever happened, it was society. And I think that came out of, nature.
Only women have wombs. So is it oppressive because you're the only one that can have a baby?
Right, and this is something I'm sure that they take issue with and see as oppressive, having to take care of children and stuff. But
no, not even taking care of them. Only women have wombs.
Yeah.
Do you feel oppressed?
I think
that you cannot take your belly and push it on a man? Do you feel oppressed? Do you feel like, oh my God, how dare me?
I think even if that's oppressive, you're gonna have to blame nature or God or whatever you believe.
If you think that's oppressive, literally something is wrong with you. You have an issue that needs therapy. That is
okay, but I think a lot of women. I think a lot of women who maybe the early feminists would have thought that this is oppressive in a sense. What do you think about intersectional feminism, where they say like white people are privileged, men are privileged, like heterosexuals are privileged, and let's say minorities are not privileged, and so on and so on, where they define, which groups have privilege and which do not?
I think that a lot of people find value in being victims and claiming to be victimized.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like that stratification as these people have privilege and these people don't have privilege.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has privileges. So I'll give an example.
Mm-hmm.
When I was having children,
mm-hmm.
my belly is out to here.
Mm-hmm.
I was given privilege, pregnancy privilege.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain vendors that put the little baby basket on the plaques saying where you can park, similar to handicap.
Mm-hmm.
So handicapped people have privileges, right?
Right.
That they gave similar privileges to pregnant mothers and with young children.
Right.
Right. And I think that those things come naturally. I don't know if you are able-bodied, if you should feel oppressed or less than simply because there's a handicap parking closer to the door.
Yeah.
Or there's a part, like when I went into, if I'm waiting in line and anybody sees me with my big belly, man or woman, they usually offer me to go in front of them, right? To go first. And once I even had a security guard at the bank tell everybody in line that she's going next. I don't care what's going on with the rest of y'all.
Right.
Right? And same thing when you're standing on a train or any type of public transit and you're standing up and your belly's out to here.
Yeah.
People, not just men, women as well, will offer you their seat.
Okay.
So it's not that if they don't, you feel like entitled and that they owe it to you, but a lot of people, they find value in the Victim Olympics.
Okay.
They are staunch Olympiads.
Yeah.
And they need it to seem as if, so-called privilege is so stratified and, all this nonsense. They always think if something happens to them, it has nothing to do with their mindset or, their actual examples of what they're doing. It's always, it must be because I'm a woman, or it must be because I'm a brown woman, or maybe it's because I'm a dark brown woman, or maybe all types of stuff that because they want to get that benefit of woe is me,
it wasn't my fault. So you never take blame or accountability. So therefore you need to hold on to it.
You never want to take accountability. It's not because of your character. They always want to make it seem like it's some outward look.
Right.
And it's difficult to disprove because, of course, they have that plausible deniability.
Right.
Right? But I've never accepted poor treatment from people And I don't care what reason you might give to treat me poorly. If it's not because my character is poor and I perhaps did something intentionally to harm you that makes you treat me poorly, I'm never going to say it's, oh, because I'm a woman, oh, because I'm a brown woman, oh, because I'm a dark brown woman, oh, because I'm foreign, oh, because I'm not going to make any of those excuses. You might just be an asshole.
Okay. Would you say that feminism undervalues womanhood, if there's such a thing?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me more on your thoughts on that.
I think that the natural role of a woman has inherent value. It is central to family. And when you try to say, well, why must she be the one who has the children? Or why must she be the one to breastfeed the children? We have formula now. You can be free. It is a devaluing of the whole of family. And family is the beginning nucleus of community. Right. So if you devalue the natural role of a woman, it is to devalue the whole unit of family and, in essence, the whole purpose of community in general.
Okay. So in this way, feminism is affecting society negatively because they undervalue family and then community, you would say.
Yes, they undervalue women. They undervalue men. They're saying you're not worth getting more in any way, shape, or form for literally doing more. You're not worth more for doing the harder things. You're not worth, and it's like, how could you undervalue someone else's role, especially if it's to just make yours seem better? And a lot of times feminists are not bringing anything to the table of value. Okay. They don't even want, it's like, okay, so you don't have any value. You don't want to do anything valuable. You undervalue your natural role as a woman. You undervalue the natural role of men. That has to be an undermining of the whole family and community.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Beautifully said. Okay. Okay. Have you ever been called a pick-me girl for your views?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't know. I should say I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah. I don't care.
Okay. Do you believe that there's a sympathy gap between men and women, that men are shown less sympathy?
Sympathy.
Or empathy? Do people empathize less with men? Not really. Okay.
Do people empathize less with men? Perhaps. Yeah. And it's because men are typically viewed as being able to handle more stress.
Yeah.
And handle more struggle. So if a man is struggling, it's kind of like, well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so, suck it up, buttercup. Stuff like that. And if you, again, value people, right, you will be empathetic to anyone that is expressing pain, that they're struggling.
Right. Okay, so if you have to sum up your views, like your core views on feminism, how would you describe it? Like when you speak from your heart on feminism. Because you said some really interesting stuff so far.
It's just based on, again, I can't get over the victim Olympiad stuff.
Yeah.
And the wanting to take advantage of people's empathy. Especially for women who are typically seen as more sensitive to everything, right? I think men are just as sensitive. However, they might even either keep it to themselves or express how they might want to assist differently. So again, if you want to keep that disparagement as a negative, you're going to be like, oh, well, they didn't even bat an eyelash, but maybe they went and just fixed the problem, and that was their way of showing that they care, right? And sometimes they're demonized for that. Men are demonized for like, oh, you're trying to fix my problem. I just want somebody to talk shit to, or I just want somebody to hear my problems. I don't actually want you to fix them. I actually like my problems. But when you're expressing them to men, they're going to automatically assume that you want them to help, and they're going to help in the way that they know best how to do. And it might not always be a hug or a pat on the back. They might just go and fix the problem. Okay, that's how that's their love language, right? And I just think feminist is a waste of time. I think feminism is a waste of time, talent, treasure, mental space, everything. I just think it's
right.
I don't know why people still talk about it.
Okay. And you would say it's over. Even if we needed it sometime, we definitely don't anymore, right?
Definitely don't anymore. If we ever did, I'm not sure if we ever did.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is manipulation from the corporate capitalist market, right? And they realize that they can prey on young people when they're removed from their parents. And so if you create an environment where the man is probably willing to work regardless of whatever outside the home, and mothers or women might be a little more hesitant, but if you manufacture a society where it's like, well, we're pricing the man out of the market, right?
I mean, it benefits them when more people are in the workforce, because then they can pay lower wages. It also benefits them to not have families, in a sense, because then they get 2 rents instead of 1.
But mainly, they get to control the minds of the children.
Right.
Because now the parents are removed, so then we get to program them that not only do you not need your parents, but guess what? You don't even need each other. You can just rely on the government. Forget your actual community. Don't be good to your sister and your brethren, because the government is going to take care of you, right? You don't actually have to be willing to work together. And then you have programs in the government that penalize families for having both parents together, and incentivize that if you want this government service, you have to claim that the father is not in the home, or not interested in some kind of way, right?
Right. You have to be single to get more help from the government.
Yeah. So now I met older women who talk about the fact that they had to hide their husbands,
course, yeah,
things like that.
They just fake divorce.
Like, why?
Yeah, they're divorced, but they see each other every single day. I've seen it so many times.
I've had women say that if you were struggling at the time when they were making that transition of basically pulling the mother out of the home and making it so you could not actually sustain your family if both parents weren't out here so-called earning, that they would lie about the situation and be like, well, I am single, right?
Yeah.
Or, but the man, like I said, they do inspections and stuff like that. They gotta hide the husband somewhere.
Yeah. They have to have separate houses and so on. But
yes. So like you say, they can get the 2 rents and things like that. And I definitely equate feminism with the other types of equality for no reason movements. They say, oh, we want women's rights and we want other kinds of rights. I'm not even going to say those, but they're all about people rights. And you do already have those rights. So what exactly are you fighting for in this Victim Olympics?
Right.
They want to be recognized. And a lot of people, especially women, they don't want to have to be anything except a woman in order to be glorified. They want to be not taking care of themselves, not having pride in their appearance, not taking pride in their personal skill set, right? So you thought it was oppressive to learn how to sew and knit and crochet and needlework and do the softer things. That's oppressive. So you want to do manly things now. You want to be in the MMA. You want to be in the UFC. You want to be on the football field. You want to do basketball and all this.
And this is not oppressive somehow. It's like, what? Either way, you're going to have to work. What is this? I'd rather take the help of men, right?
I love men. When women say they don't need men, I tell them, send more to me. I can always accept more brothers. I can always accept more helpers. Okay? And I think that it is men like to be valued.
Listen, women need men to help if you have children, especially. You need help. all the help you could get. You need help from the grandparents, you need help from your siblings, you need help from men. The point is,
the community.
right.
You need help from the community.
Right.
And men are stronger in general, regardless of how you think that makes it. Doesn't matter.
Men are 50% of the community. So you don't say no to help. You know,
men are going to be the ones building the roads that you drive on. They're going to be building the car that you drive in primarily. They're going to be the ones maintaining the lights that help you to see while you're going. They're building your house.
They're an important part of society. So we cannot expect to indoctrinate society with a movement that doesn't consider them at all, that names them as somehow terrible, and still want them to participate in society in the same exact way as they would.
Yeah, I just don't want to see you.
Yeah, I don't want to show you respect. I don't want to show you enough respect to consider your feelings at all. But I still need you to be a part of society, work and do whatever it is to keep this thing.
A lot of feminists will say no, and that every single job that a man does, that a woman not only can do it, but can also do it just as well, which is retarded.
Yeah.
But they need to justify their existence.
How do you not need 50% of the population? How is that possible? How do you not need 50% of a population?
Well, if it's manual labor, feminists will likely say that women can still do it. We might need 2 or 3 women to do the
work. Where are you going to get these 2 or 3 women? It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous concept. I mean,
they look. Even if they exist, if they're anything like me, we ain't doing it.
Me as well. I don't know, but I agree. Women
I don't care if it was 90% women in society. I am not doing the man thing. I'm just not doing it. I am not. I'm not going to be out there cutting no lawn. I'd rather get a goat. Oh, I don't have a man? I got a goat. They're going to eat the lawn, but I'm not going to be out there cutting it. I'm just saying.
Cutting lawn, okay, but the hard labor of building
any of it, I think that's hard labor. Have you seen the lawn? I mean, it's like acres.
My lawn is not that bad, but the hard labor
any of it, butchering. I'm not doing it. I know women are okay with doing that. I'm not that woman. So if you have a society of mostly women and they're like me, we're still not going to do that.
Yeah, no, you're in trouble. We already see that in today's society, the trades, because we didn't put enough respect on trades, that trades are very hard to find now in terms of, at least in Europe, in terms to find plumbers and electricians and stuff. Right now, the prices are through the roof because we spent so long telling people these jobs are not worth anything. We didn't show these jobs respect. And what happened? Now you have to pay. You can't get tradespeople, you know? So you know, society is going to have to
say trade men. It's going to be a man typically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the same thing.
They're going to be doing the welding. Mm-hmm. They're going to be doing the demolition. They're going to be doing the laying of the roads. They're going to be wearing the construction hats. They're going to be working in 100-degree weather. They're going to be working in 20-degree weather. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be Malika. I'm just telling you. And if any women are like me, it's not going to be me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not going to happen without a man.
So we are going to have to show men respect in order to get them to continue to participate in society. I mean, of course, feminists probably think they can never not participate in society because it's their society as well. And that is true to an extent.
I don't think women feminists care. I think most feminists think if most of the men were removed from Earth, that they would still have the same quality of life.
So they say, but I mean, I don't know if they're that stupid, but you know, they do say things like that. But
so then why don't you believe what they say?
I don't know. I think they must know that that's illogical. But
why would you think it and then process it and then let it go out of your mouth?
Yeah. Okay, but the thing is, though, even if men don't completely stop participating in society, the fact is that family has always been a way to make men compete in society even more. You know? So, you know, when you have a family, when you have a wife, when you can work towards something and you build up. And I think this has been motivational in a sense to both men and women. And I think when you break down all of that and people are just individuals and then, you know, society is mean to men, then I do think they would participate less in society, and they have less of an incentive to build society. You know?
They have less inspiration because if their focus is on taking care of woman and family, and you remove that from them, then they could just, men can survive on their own.
Right. And they don't need much. And they don't need that much.
And I don't think they actually need women. Yes, to procreate for
they need women. They need women. And just as
I don't think so. I think women need men.
Women need men.
Not necessarily need women.
Well,
but they do find more value in their life. There is proof that they live longer, etc.
Yeah.
I think when you're talking about just the basic needs,
I see what you're saying.
It is women who actually need.
Men are more independent.
Men want women.
Right.
Men want women.
Okay. Men want women. That's what I mean. Yeah.
But a man can survive in the wild by his
right. Men are the most independent part of society.
By themselves. Yeah. Right. So for us to undervalue them, let's say all the men withdraw and they just go into the woods, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. It's gonna be us women like, oh, where the men went? Women like me gonna be like, oh, they went to the woods. Bye, y'all. Going over there.
Yeah. So man or bear, which one?
What? Any man all the way. Okay, let me just answer it straight up. I would take a strange man. I would take a gay man before I take any woman, okay, or bear. Okay. Okay.
All right.
And I might take the bear before the woman. But no, I'm definitely gonna take a man. Okay, any kind of man, a short man, an old man, any man before a bear. If I need assistance with anything. Okay.
Good. At least we have someone saying man, because society.
I didn't even participate in that because I felt like you just said a couple of minutes ago, which is they have to know that that's complete trash. They have to just be saying that as a joke. There's no way that they thought that, pondered it, and then let it.
At first, I think the question was meant as a joke, and I think women did answer it as a joke. But then, when feminists took it up, they were talking a lot about sexual assault. They kind of tried to turn it into a Me Too or something. So it became a sexual assault problem, Which is what they always do. They bring everything back to that.
Hello from a man is sexual assault.
They bring everything back to sexual assault, I find.
Yes, and it's because if you claim that, you win the Victim Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I can get people to sympathize with me if that's what I claim.
Yeah, there's nothing you could say to people who really claim that they have been sexually assaulted their whole lives. And that is what some of them, I've been in their groups.
I don't know what that has to do with feminism, though. That you've been mistreated. You've been mistreated, okay? You were victimized, yes, but it's that's just a societal problem that's probably attributed to feminism, right?
How?
You get all these men out here that think they got to go out here and take stuff.
Right. I've also kind of related it to that in a sense by saying, traditional society was at least hopefully protecting women. That was the idea.
That's the point. That's what men are born to do. That is their initial instinct. Even if you have a son and they're young, they can't actually defend you. Their first thought is going to be to stand, to protect their mother, to protect their sister. That's a natural thing. And you're trying to make men feel like if they do that, it might be perceived as some type of sexual thing. So now they are stopping themselves and allowing you these strong women, go ahead and handle your business.
Exactly. That was what I was saying. Feminists said they wanted to be independent. Well, men said be independent. Your independence means you're not protected. They can't protect you when you don't want it. Right? So, it is so. So, yeah. All right. Well,
protect me, brothers. Protect me. I need men. Okay. I love men. I birthed 2 of them and raised them to be wonderful. Okay.
All right. Well, the time, so that's like the end of the interview. But
Okay.
thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.